Hello again and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be making my husband's birthday cake. He likes confetti cake, so I have vanilla cake and I just added some sprinkles, and I also added sprinkles to the frosting. I thought I recorded it and I forgot to record that. It's cream cheese frosting with sprinkles as well. I wanted it to be confetti cake because he likes confetti cake. So what I did a second ago is the cake was a little bit lopsided. So what I do for that is I just add a little bit more cream on the other side to make it even, and then there you go, the cake is even again. So there's a lot of different tricks and stuff that you do as you're making the cake because a lot of mistakes happen. So I'm just doing the crumb coat so that I can place the fondant. And after I do the crumb coat, I put it in the refrigerator for like a little while, maybe, I don't know, I'll say 15 minutes so the icing can harden and it doesn't move. And then I'll start putting the fondant on it. So here I ended up having not enough fondant. I had white fondant, but I didn't want to use all of it, so I took a chunk of it out, and I needed some more for another part of the cake. So I didn't roll out enough fondant. So you'll see here how when I start to place it on the cake, it does start to rip on the bottom because I needed some more fondant. And then I didn't want to end up using the extra piece that I had, because if I did that, then I didn't know if I needed to go and get more marshmallows to to make fondant, because I didn't have any more marshmallows because my niece and my cousin, they ate all the marshmallows. I didn't expect that. So I thought that was funny, but it's okay. I made it work because these little, you know, mistakes that I made, because the fondant was a little too thin. It wasn't rolled out, wide enough or whatever. What you can do is you can fix the mistakes, but I did a little rough patch on the mistakes, but I wasn't really bothered by it because I knew it was going to be hidden, so it didn't really matter to me. All of those little mistakes were going to get covered by all the buildings that I'm going to make on the outside of the cake. So what my husband picked for his birthday cake, he wanted Batman. So this is I'm Batman cake. But it's Dark Knight, so I don't even know if that's the same thing. Batman is Dark Knight. It's just that was the movie that. So I made like a kind of a cartoon version of the Dark Knight Batman cake. See, a lot of the mistakes are on there, but it's okay. They'll be covered, so I'm not even worried about it. Right now, I'm just doing the little bit of patching so I can cover them, the little, what would you call that? The holes with the frosting on it, because I didn't want it to get stuck with the buildings and then it won't stick right. So I wanted to cover it, even though I didn't really do it that neat, but it was because they were going to get covered. So what I did here was, after I patch it, I put my little spatula thing into, what is that called? Cornstarch, and then rub it around the cake so that it can get flat again. And then that's all I do so that it's not like sticky. So here I started working on my buildings. So I just kind of eyeballed it and figured out like what a building would look like a city building. So that's what I did. And then once I cut out what I thought, I placed it on the cake before I would wet the fondant, because if you wet it then it sticks. But I would place it and see if it was the right size, and then I would wet it and continue to place the next piece. Because if I would rather it's better to do that, because the moment you wet it, then the pieces start sticky and then it's hard to get it off. If you make a mistake, you can just take it right off and fix it. So that's why I do that. It's easier for me. So yeah, I'm just cutting out some more buildings to add for the edges of the cake, covering up all of that messed up cake. That's what I like about fondant. You can work with it so much that you can fix your mistakes, because a lot of mistakes happen. But it helps you fix what you messed up on. I started to roll out my fondant so that I can do my cutouts for my Batman face. So what I did was I had to wet the paper a little bit so that the paper can stick to the fondant, because it kept on moving and then it was messing up my cutting when I was trying to keep it still. So that's what I would recommend, just, you know, wetting the paper a little bit so that it'll just stay still while you cut it out. And I just basically traced the Batman on a piece of paper, and then I place it on the fondant, and then I cut it out like a cutout. So I'm just going to show that I did the Batman head, and then I'm just going to skip to the next part. But that's how I did it. I cut all the pieces one by one like that. What I'm doing here is I'm taking black food coloring and I'm painting all of the buildings and the top part of the cake, the little circle. I'm making it a little bit darker. It could look a little bit more vibrant. So that's why I started to paint it. Now I start to place my Batman head on, which it came out really cute. I messed up a little bit when I was placing it on, so I had to move the little like Batman body down a little bit. It was too high and it was wet, so it was a little bit difficult, but you just kind of take your time with it. As you can see, I kind of it kind of sticks to the cake, and then you just be really gentle with it, because then you rip it and have to do it all over again. I didn't want to do it all over again, but that does happen, and then you would have to just do it again. That's why I would keep those paper templates, because mistakes happen. So I always keep those, and usually I tape them up with tape so that it'll be a little, so you can keep them forever. What I'm starting to do here is I made little strips, and then I started cutting them into little boxes. I felt like this was the easiest way to make a whole bunch of windows fast. And then, I started placing my windows, making my city. very easy, but you know, time consuming. But I was doing Gotham City. That's what Batman is, right? Yeah, Batman is Gotham City. I changed the moon. I did make the moon like a gray, blue type of dark moon, but then when my husband I asked him, is that right? He said, well, they usually have a yellow moon for the Batman stuff. So I said, oh, okay. So I changed that. I started I started coloring the the outside of the fondant. I wanted to make it look like it's nighttime. I was started making my clouds. You know, I wanted it to be the city night. Batman fights in the night, right? Not in the day, right? I don't even know. Does he fight in the day? I don't remember. But yeah. So after I started doing my clouds, I started to make like stars in the sky with the hitting the paintbrush. But you know, I feel like maybe there's a better technique because it that technique didn't work out the way I wanted to. I feel like you still get the concept of it, but it didn't work out the way I wanted to. I think I want to try something else again, maybe with the brush and hit it like that. Maybe it'll be better. It looks different when you do paint than when you actually use food coloring. It's different. But yeah, so I made the moon like a yellowish moon so it could be like how it is on Batman. And continue to watch me paint my finishing touches, and then I'll show you my final result. And that is my finished result. My Batman Dark Knight birthday cake for my husband. It's a little wet on the corner because I had did a little touch up on it and then I recorded it. But yeah, it once it dried, that just goes away. But that is the finished result. Thank you for watching. All right, bye.